Hello and welcome to episode 173 of The Pitcher or the Hitter, the podcast by the M-SABR Dynasty League for the M-SABR Dynasty League. I am Cam,
I'm Sahil.
and we are deep in the heart of November. Normally a pretty slow month for the league. This November has not been much of an exception. But we've got a big episode here. We just had our roster cut down. A couple interesting trades and a couple interesting names that ended up being dropped.
Yeah, it is interesting that you said it is a slow December because or slow November, I should say, and get my months mixed up because there are 9 trades in league history that happened today, the day of recording. That is uh November 11th. So of course we picked the busiest day of November in league history, but yeah, we did have a fair amount happen. There was some roster cut downs, but also there was 2 trades. So um, let's talk about those trades, and then we'll kind of dive into the roster uh, cut down as a whole. This was really Ruthvik having a lot of players that he needed to cut, and he was very active in trying to make some trades, and to his credit, he did. The first one was he traded Yusei Kikuchi to Team Resnick, or as it says in the sheet, Tem Resnick, for Ruthvik's 2025 second round pick, with a condition that if Kikuchi signs overseas this offseason, which I highly doubt he's going to do, Anthony gets that second round pick back. Uh, Cam, Kikuchi was yours for a while. What do you think of this?
Yeah, he was a green square of mine. I took him in the 2019 draft. Then I traded back for him. Then I traded him away to Ruthvik along with Joey Loperfido for Seth Lugo, who, Lugo wasn't great for me down the stretch, but I think it was an overall good season. He's got another year in that arm. But yeah, Ruthvik made that trade, and he has since cut Loperfido and and now traded away Kikuchi. Yeah, this was a deal that I maybe didn't work out great for me down the stretch, but considering that Ruthvik no longer has either of those guys, uh, I'm feeling okay about it. Um, Kikuchi was pretty strong down the stretch after being traded to the Astros, so I am a little bit surprised that Ruthvik would get rid of him. Um, at the same time, he's got a lot of starting pitchers. He's got Senga, he's got Webb, Barrios, Sean Manaea is interesting. Bobby Miller was terrible this season, but maybe he's got something in the arm. He's got to cut the walk race, though. He walked 30 guys in 56 innings. Um, it's Ruthvik. He's got an interesting pitching staff. And that second rounder is that's Anthony's 2025 second rounder. So it's
No, no, Ruthvik's 2025 second rounder.
um
Oh no,
Ruthvik.
wait.
No, it is. Yeah, it's Anthony's pick. Wait a minute.
I think there's a mistake. Or no, you know what? I don't think we updated the. Huh. So it says
Okay,
Ruthvik
something's
owns the.
definitely, yeah,
No,
wrong
no,
here
no, no,
because
no, no, no. It is Ruthvik's because it does say in the sheet that Ruthvik owns that pick now. So he got his 2025 second back.
oh, Ruthvik got his own. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it's pick 17. That's not a bad return for um all things considered for Kikuchi. Gonna get maybe a back of the top 100 prospect there. I think that feels decently fair. And I think Kikuchi is a good get for Anthony.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty effective move by Anthony to go get a young starter. Or not a young starter, sorry, a quality starter. Kikuchi is old. Um, I really like this for him. I think if Ruthvik had shot Kikuchi a little more heavily a couple of weeks or even like a week prior, I think he could have gotten a little better deal than this. Maybe whether it's getting a second pick, whether it's getting, like a half decent prospect on top of Kikuchi, because Kikuchi had a really strong second half. The K rate was up. I mean, I wonder if some of the gains could stick. I mean, I'm just not a Kikuchi fan, so for me, it's kind of like whatever. But I mean, like at this price, I mean, even I was inquiring on Kikuchi. I told him like, look, if you're going to trade him for a second round pick, like, what do I have that's like equivalent? Because I would happily pay that price. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think I get that he wanted to clear space though, so I don't necessarily mind it from that perspective. I think, like you said, he has a lot of other really good starters.
Yeah, I agree. Ruthvik has will be picking if he keeps this pick, we'll be picking in the first half of the draft for only the second time ever. This is only his second pick in the first 18 picks of a draft, and the only other time he did, he took Kodai Senga. So that's very, very unlike Ruthvik to have a pick that's even mildly early. We'll see if he keeps it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps it, but yeah, I mean it's really Ruthvik's MO to make some trades, so we'll see. I'm curious to see how this one pans out.
We will see. But yes, moving on to the second trade was also Ruthvik one. He went and traded away Nick Pivetta and Andres Chaparro to Jake for Kevin Alcantara.
Yeah. This one, it remind me if I'm wrong, Pivetta got the qualifying offer, right?
I believe he did.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he's like a fine option. I mean, in the back of someone's rotation. I mean, probably boring, but like, I mean, he had a 4.14 ERA this year. I think the ERA indicators are a little better, but he has a terrible home run problem. He's a 173 homer nine. Kind of hindered what was a pretty good season from a K per nine walk per nine perspective. He had a 10.63 K per nine, 222 walk per nine, 145 and two-thirds innings. Um, so I mean, if Pivetta can figure out a way to cut down the home run rate, I mean, even in 2022 it was a 135, 2021 was a 139. Even if he can get it down a little lower like that, maybe he has an ERA that's like mid to high threes with and if he can keep that high K rate, like, you know, maybe he's a little more interesting. Maybe there's something there, but yeah, I don't know. He doesn't super excite me necessarily. He's kind of a just a boring arm, and I think for Ruthvik to get a borderline top 100 prospect for him is a pretty solid return. I mean, unsexy trade, but it fills a need for both sides, so I don't mind it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pavetta's interesting enough as to have. Uh, I think it's a good get for Jake because he's got a lot of these guys that like outside of Luis Castillo and Kevin Gausman, he doesn't really, and Gausman wasn't even that great this year. He doesn't really have any steady guys. And I'm sure he would tell you that Blake Snell is, but I'm not sure. But Brian Bayo had a rough year. Cutter Crawford had a good start to the year, but was terrible down the stretch. Um,
I think
and then
Gosman had
he's
a rougher year than you're giving him credit for, as an aside.
yeah, 3.83 ERA. So really it's just kind of Castillo, but then he's got these Spencer Arrighetti and David Peterson and Jose Soriano types that are kind of like guys he's taking flyers on. So we're yeah, I think and yeah, Nathan Eovaldi is a steady guy who's gonna pitch more innings probably than Pivetta. They're both free agents. I think Eovaldi and Pivetta, I think of them as two very like the game where we play where who does this player remind you of? Nick Pivetta and Nathan Eovaldi are definitely linked in my mind.
Ooh, I'm more of a Nick Pivetta, like Vince Velasquez. Uh,
Interesting.
but I don't think Nick Pivetta and Nathan Eovaldi did they ever overlap with Boston? I don't think they did.
I'm not sure. I think they definitely kind of feel like the same. They're just kind of
They feel like to me
just
from two different eras because Eovaldi was on that World Series team. Oh, I guess they did overlap for a while. So, Evaldi from mid-season 18 to 22 was a Red Sox, and Pivetta got to Boston in the middle of 2020. So,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
so they regardless though, yeah, they're I think of them as being similar. But yeah, I think it's a good get for Jake's team, and I think there's Kevin Alcantara might be Ruthvik's best prospect.
Ah,
He's
that's a good question. I haven't looked at Ruthvik's farm in a hot sec. I know he traded away Brooks Lee. Christian
uh
Scott's pretty solid.
Christian Scott's interesting, yeah.
Ricky Tiedemann, I think
Angel
he stayed
Janao could
healthy.
have been his best prospect.
Who?
Angel Janao.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Clegg says that Brandon Sproat is his best prospect. I'm not familiar with Brandon Sproat other than the name, so I would have to look into whether that's something I buy. But
What rank does he have screwed at?
46.
Ooh, that feels a little high.
Yeah.
Ooh, Ohio State has thrown their four. I am playing. Him and I are predictably both playing NCAA 25 while we're uh recording, and Ohio State has thrown their fourth pick in the game, and I'm about to win 30 to 14. Michigan has not lost to Ohio State since 2020. It is now 2028. So,
Hey,
in
hey,
case
they
you
didn't play Ohio State in 2020. 2019 was the last time they were lost.
2019, excuse me. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. Um, but
But yeah, so those were the two trades that Ruthvik made. I think we've gone too deep into them. Any interesting cuts that we want to talk about at the roster cut deadline?
so let's start with the big one. It's we have another yellow square gone, and a player who it wasn't an inaugural team name. That was Yohan Moncada. Connor has finally cut him. Uh, he is off his roster. Moncada coming off another dreadful year. He was hurt most of the year. The White Sox declined his option. He is a free agent. And Connor finally said, I had enough. And I know Connor was hoarding White Sox for a while, but he's actually cut a few of them or traded a few of them recently. Uh, he still, I think, has Eloy Jimenez, but Luis Robert, he traded. He's also traded away Dylan Cease, although he traded him away right after the trade last spring training. Um, Moncada's gone now. Uh, I feel like he had Lucas Giolito at one point, but now he's gone.
He did.
Actually, he traded into me. And then Giolito got hurt, and that was that. Somebody else is Giolito now, but yeah,
Yep.
it's
All
weird.
that's left is Andrew Vaughn in the majors and Colson Montgomery in the minors.
Damn. Uh, and I thought he was going to hold on to these White Sox forever. But we are now down to seven yellow squares. And as a reminder for the listeners, yellow squares are players who have been on a team's roster since the inaugural draft. Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Freddie Freeman, Christian Yelich, Vlad Jr., and Kenley Jansen in draft order. Or
Yeah, so
for
when we
but
picked, approximately 2 years ago, we said collectively that Yohan Moncada would be the eighth remaining yellow square, and we were correct about that. I said he would be sixth to go. You said he would be 12th to go. That averaged out to eighth. Um, and yeah, we were right about that. Kenley Jansen, we thought would be the 16th left, and he's in the top seven.
yeah, and not only that, I think we asked a question like in 1,500 days, how many of these players are still going to be on a roster? And I think you have it up. One of us said, I think combined top five, the other said combined top seven.
I said seven. It is starting to get to the point where outside of Kenley Jansen, I don't see any of these guys moving anytime soon.
I think you're
That
right.
being said, you never know. You could be overwhelmed by a Yelich offer, or Yuki could be overwhelmed by a Harper offer, or Anthony could um, I don't think he's going to cut Trout, but yeah, it's getting down to it. There are not many left.
Yeah, I didn't think necessarily that I was gonna trade Altuve, so like you never know. Um, I think when the right offer comes along, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a while. Other than Kenley, I think Kenley might be a cut sooner rather than later. Although I know Yuki's come close to trading him a couple times, but and I don't know why he's still holding on to him honestly, but I think that yeah, I think it's gonna stay at this number for a while.
Hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Some other cuts.
How about
Let's
AJ
see.
Puck
Ruthvik.
getting cut?
Yeah, AJ Puck. He could potentially be the closer in Arizona next year. I know it. Um, he only got 3 saves this year, but one of them was in September. Paul Sewald is not did not finish off the year strong, despite I don't think he allowed a run in April or May, something crazy like that.
He is a
Um,
free
he
agent
had a
too.
rough. He is a free agent also. Um, so AJ Puck is yeah definitely an interesting cut, and he has not yet been added back. We'll see if someone decides that they want to add him.
Yeah, so he was cut, and another cut I was kind of surprised, and one that wasn't added back was Luis Rengifo. Um, he is gonna lose solid eligibility next year, so he'll only be second and third eligible. But he had a really solid year before he got hurt. Not quite as big of a power year, but I think he had 27 stolen bases before the
24.
injury came down. So and he should be playing every day on the terrible Angels lineup. So I thought there could have been something there, but evidently not. I thought, as a matter of fact, maybe Jake was going to pick him up when he cut Ryan McMahon, who I also think is an interesting cut, but he picked up Michael Garcia instead. So I thought that was a little interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised to see Ryan McMahon go. Um, I guess he didn't have as good a season as I thought I that he did. Maybe he struggled down the stretch. Um, but he hit 20 homers this year. Yeah, it's a little bit surprising to see him cut.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought that was interesting too, but um, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of one of those maybe like boring players that you're like, hey, like there's probably going to be a few of those types of guys who you could like reasonably expect to like find on the waiver wire to replace his production. And like worst case scenario, if uh if you do lose out on him, like you're like, well, like you're not really gonna look at it with like some big regret or something like, oh my God, I really effed up.
Some other interesting Marco Luciano, despite him still being prospect eligible, they just straight up cut him. Guy who's been kind of a big piece in trades before. Doesn't really, he hasn't been great in the majors, and the prospect shine is pretty much gone as well. But interesting to see him just a straight up free agent.
Yeah, he kind of reached that awkward period where it was like, he's a you know, he's not great. And like he's kind of hard to hold on to. But like he's no longer prospect eligible, so it's like, well, like what do you do with him? And I believe it was Alex and Zach who had
He
him.
is prospect eligible, actually. He's still got like 20 more plate appearances.
I mean, he's still just really fallen off. Um, if you want to bet on the prior prospect pedigree, like I don't think he's a bad gamble for teams. But I don't know if I would.
That's true, but they'd be the type of team to gamble on a guy like this, and it just um if they can't, then who will?
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like Mark Vientos last year, where I feel like everybody was just out on him, even though he had some, there's a lot of people liked him in the past, thought he, had talent, whatever. But didn't really just quite work out for one reason or another, and that he did just pan out in a big way after everybody was out on him. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the case here, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't count him out. I mean, I think he's still ridiculously young.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, but other interesting cuts here. Um, Connor dropped Lance Lynn, who had a little bit better season than I thought he did. Um, you dropped Jorge Soler, which I find interesting, just considering he's 67% owned. Had a decent year, hit 21 homers. I just didn't really have a spot for him on your roster.
Yeah, that was exactly it. If I had space, I think he could have stuck around as like one of the bottom outfielders. Uh, Going to the Angels, I don't think really helps his cause. Uh, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
he's
mean, yeah,
fine.
he's an interesting guy. He'll be rostered at plenty of points during this upcoming season, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. As for Lance Lynn, I mean, decent ERA, but it was a 134 whip. I mean, that's awful. 117 in a third innings, 23 starts. I mean, so he's not even averaging, or I guess he's averaging 6 innings to start, so there is some value to that. But I mean, he's going to be 38 next year, which is hard to believe. I just it's there's not a ton of value in that to me. It's not a sexy profile.
No, I'm sure he'll be a streamer at various points in the season, though.
A hundred
Um,
percent. Um,
the jury dropped Joe Jimenez, who was sneakily one of the better holds guys in the league this year. They also dropped Kevin Ginkel, who was not. Who else? I'm imagining Yuri Perez was a not a drop, but a long-term IL
yeah,
drop.
IL.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah, anyone else that we want to mention here?
Uh, Let me double check quickly. Nobody else I could really think of. I guess Jameson Tyone got cut again. And I think I already talked about him in the last episode, how I thought he's a little interesting. But it makes sense why he was cut. I think at this time of the year, some of those boring options aren't necessarily guys that really need to be rostered. Um, Josiah Gray was cut. I know he was kind of a bigger deal in previous years, so it was a little interesting to see him get cut. You cut Tyler Mahle, who I know in you've had him for a while. In previous years he's been good, but he just can't stay healthy anymore.
Yeah, he's a guy I was really hoping would have off-season IR eligibility. He just didn't, and I didn't have a spot for him.
Yeah. Yuki cut Drew Rasmussen, who seems like kind of a bigger name, but it's not as big of a deal when you kind of dig into it because they just weren't really using him as a starter or it just it wasn't really working out for the Rays the way they were using him. Um, but uh, other than that, I can't really think of anybody else here. I think uh
Well, if you're not gonna say it, I cut Jeff McNeil.
oh shit, how did I not lead with that? I made such a big deal about that in the chat and I completely forgot about him. Fuck. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
so
so
Jeff McNeil,
bad.
I was prepared to keep him. I was really, I didn't make my cuts until 11:59 because I was trying to see, okay, is Zach Neto going to be added to the going to be eligible? Is Clayton Kershaw going to become eligible? Is Shane McClanahan going to become eligible? Eventually, they did not. I tried to finagle something, and I had to cut Jeff McNeil. Listen, Jeff McNeil had a 159 WRC plus in the second half. He had like the best half of his career. So I was, not pleased to cut him. Um, at the end of the day, though, the emergence of Jackson Merrill, the trade for Altuve, Brendan Donovan having a really solid season, just kind of being a steady presence. He had 587 plate appearances, which, he's been hurt in the past. He kind of, takes that role as a high OBP guy who's maybe not going to hit for a ton of power, but he's going to get a lot of doubles and get a lot of play in my lineup. It's kind of a guy to come off the bench. And yeah, unfortunately, it was time for Jeff McNeil.
I'm never gonna forgive myself for not immediately like going ape shit, like excitement, just leading off the podcast with that Captain Biggio style. But yeah, it was time. I'm glad.
Who knows? Maybe he'll be back on my roster at some point this coming year. I don't have no faith in him. I have some amount of belief in him for this year.
Yeah, as you should. I think it's warranted to some degree after a second half, if I'm being objective, but like you're not gonna miss him, let's be honest.
Probably not, but it's always sad to lose a longtime member of my team. And this is a good transition into our main segment. Jeff McNeil spent 481 days on my team. That is 49th most. That is he was just surpassed, or he was acquired in the same deal as Erod. But yeah, he had the 49th most longest tenured member of my team, and he'll be missed.
Yes.
And which brings us to our main segment. We have created Sporcle quizzes for each other of players who of every player who's ever been on our teams, and we're gonna play them on the air.
Yes. We're gonna go one by one so we could talk to the other throughout it. But
Yeah, we're gonna try and make this um as radio friendly and entertaining as possible. But basically, we have, and to be clear, this does not include 2018 because all that data is, as far as we can tell, lost. But 2019 to present, every player that we have owned, we got 25 minutes each to name as many as we can.
I'm so excited. This is gonna be great. Um, which one of us wants to go first?
Um, Good question. Is your NCAA game over?
Mine is.
All right, you go first. I've got a goal line stand to make.
Excellent.
All right, let me
I will
send you
be.
your quiz.
Yes. All righty. Oh,
All right, this is Yellow Champs. These results are as of yesterday. Well, that doesn't help you, the listener. This is as of
November
November
10th.
10th. So the top players had spent 2,422 days on your team. There's several guys, lots and lots of guys who have spent exactly 1 day on your team. Why don't we talk about how we got this data? Basically, me and Sahil each have our own sheets that we update every day. Or every time we make a transaction, add drop. With the oh fuck, they recovered an onside kick. Um, with just every player that's ever been on our team, and I've just got some formulas in there that keep track of how many days a guy has been on the team, how many stints, and etc. And we can sort it. It's a very straightforward thing, but it's just kind of been a very easy way to see who has spent the most days on our teams. And I have um you can just export it all into Excel and upload from Excel into Sporcle without having to actually type in each of the names manually, thankfully. And now we got a quiz. Sahil has 410 names to guess.
Yes, 25 minutes. I am ready, so let's do this.
All right,
All right, I have hit play quiz. All right.
here we go. I previously took Sahil's version of the quiz, and I believe I got like 170. Um, let's see, I'll talk over well.
Uh, yeah. Uh,
I got 114 of your guys.
114. Okay.
I'm
Um,
certain you'll beat that, but
I'm sure I will. Okay. I should definitely remember who's on my roster right now at a minimum. If I don't get those, that'll be an issue. All right, I'm up to 55 in a little more than a minute.
okay.
Who do you think's gonna get more? Me of my players or you of your players?
I think you're gonna get more of your players. I don't think it's gonna be too close.
That sounds right. Uh, I do spend a ridiculous amount of time studying my sheet because what else do I have to do? It's not like I have a job or something.
No way.
No way. This is more important than my job. Uh, okay, I've slowed down a bit. So many of those players that I like traded immediately, and I just need to like remember, or after picking them up, and I just need to remember who they are. I also should be getting more of these players at the top right. I think I'm like psyching myself out here without realizing I still have 22 minutes, more than
Oh my
22
God,
minutes.
I just beat Louisville 62 to 60.
Hey, nice.
Walked it off on a field goal. I I went for two 7 times and I was successful once.
Damn.
But I and
Oh,
that
you
is
got
a
it when it mattered.
basketball score right there. Um,
The only downside that like there is a little upside in the sense that you did play this once, so I guess I will see like how my your results compared to mine, but like there's not going to be any frame of reference for yours. So I can't be like, damn, like nobody got this random obscure player who like spent a day on my team.
I think I can. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I think my results are visible for your quiz. I don't know if your results. I mean, you haven't taken my quiz, but because I did take your quiz. Um,
You're cutting in and out.
mm, mm.
Okay, I'm like slowly filling. I got 76 so far. Okay, I'm trying to think by year. Once I'm picturing like my rosters by year, this is helping a little more. God, I had too many bad third basemen for a while. Now I'm picturing my third baseman. I did have him for a while. How the fuck did I just get him? And him. Jesus Christ. I'm embarrassed. It only took me 5 minutes to get him. Okay, so I do have my top 11, and I should know 12 because I've just been talking about how all my players just passed him. All right, definitely had him at one point. Oh, this guy. Okay, I already said him. I'm up to 96.
96.
All right, who else did I draft in that inaugural draft? Uh, he's definitely okay. He's not as high up as I thought, but he was there. Oh God. Now I'm really digging through some of the older names here. All right, who else have I held on to for a while, but then decided to jettison? Oh man, I'm up to 113.
Okay, so you're basically where I was.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if seeing some of these names like jogs my memories on others. Or like who did I think was like competent enough to be in my how did I forget him until now? Okay, I'm missing like two names in my top like 25-ish, and I don't know who they are, and it's annoying me. Oh, did have these two for a bit. And him. Falling trade trees helps. Oh, okay. I did have a lot of guys from here. That means I also had him. Oh, this guy. There we go. That means yep. Getting to some of the rarest players of all the prospects who have actually made it to my roster. Oh God, I had a string of really bad catchers. Oh God, I did have him. Try not to reveal like names in case you had some of these guys.
Okay.
Uh, unless you want me to, I don't really care.
I think that's okay.
I still don't have my 12th and 13th longest tenured players. And like I'm sure I know exactly who they are, but I'm just skipping over them for some reason. Like some inexplicable reason. Like it's obviously some outfielder or starting pitcher I had forever, but just can't remember. Maybe they have multiple. Oh, one of them's this guy. I already said him. Oh shit, it's definitely him. There it is. All right, I know my top 30 and 35 of my top 36 and okay, some of these names are definitely on the tip of my tongue. I suspect a couple of these are just like boring relievers. Uh, who? Okay, who else have I streamed this year? That's what I'm trying to. Oh shit, who's a really shitty Reds random red?
That could mean so many people.
I think I just got him. I don't think you or did I even roster him at any point? No. I did have Alejo Lopez in my farm system at one point, but I don't
Oh
know if he actually
God.
played or major
Alejo
league.
Lopez.
I thought that hit tool man might carry him, but evidently not. All right. Who else have I picked up and traded? Oh, I did have him. Not a pickup and trade, but I did pick up and trade the guy that I traded him for the random position player. Not him, but that did make me think of another guy that you did own. All right, who did Adley just? Oh, it was an A name because I remember thinking Adley is now my second highest or second longest tenured A name.
So you're
Sh
really paying attention to this,
eh,
huh?
yeah, it's unhealthy. What else am I supposed to do during the off season?
Work on your hockey team?
Shit. Who did that roster's name started with an A? Oh, but I'm not thinking of all the shitty Orioles that I've rostered at one point. Oh shit, who was a really shitty third baseman we had for a while? Not Hanser Alberto, but the other one. They're basically the same thing. And it did make me think of this one, but I also think I had the other shitty Oriole too. Mm. You didn't have him, so I'll say it. Do you remember that I had Chance Cisco?
Did you really?
I
Man.
did. I drafted him in the inaugural draft. Thinking he might catch.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I do remember that. And I took a different catcher right after. Or no, maybe that was when I took Suarez right after.
No, I took Suarez in the inaugural draft.
Oh, that's right. You
Remember,
took Suarez. Yeah,
because you had the presentation at M-SABR about how Suarez basically had as good of a year as Manny Machado, so that made me
that's
want to draft him.
that's right.
God, whose name fucking started with an A? He spent over 2 years on my roster. He must have been somewhat relevant. Oh, and then I had him. No, no, I already got him. Oh, I was just talking to you about the Colton Wong Yellow Champ era.
Were you? I don't remember you doing that.
God, this is like a couple days ago, Cam. Keep up. I mean, I know our friendship consists of me just chatting to random baseball shit all day, but still, keep up. Oh, God, I remember owning him, which mean I owned this guy too. Oh my God, I did own him. Remember Mike Fultonevich?
Oh God.
Oh God. And oh boy. I think you own him, so I'm not gonna say this guy, but oh boy. Mm-mm-mm. No, I already got him. I'm gonna like team by team now. Ooh, him. Ah, I got the A guy. You owned him, I think, so I'm not gonna say it.
Interesting.
Mm, I'm up to 153. I'm losing steam. I'm trying to think of random guys I have for short periods of time now because I've done really good at the top. I'm confident I could get more of these. If you give me like 45 minutes, I think I could get like 300 of these, but it's like the time pressure of it. Uh, is kind of holding me back a little bit here, but that's okay. We're having
That's
fun.
what we gotta do. You can't just go forever.
No, I know. Uh, as fun as that would be, and I'm pretty sure I could spend all night doing this and have a blast, but I think this is it's probably a sign I need help, but oh Lord, Lord have mercy. Trying to think what random relievers I've had over the years, or other shitty guys I've traded for in the middle of the season for playoff push purposes. Oh shit, who was the? There we go. Remember Garrett Richards?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, what other trades did you and I make? Or who else did I convince myself for like a 20-day span was actually good? Oh shit, I had a couple of interesting third basemen and I no, I might have gotten all the ones I can really think of. Oh, this guy. There we go. Did get Renato Munoz. Remember Renato Munoz? Nunez?
I do. Yeah, he's the one who looks like a mixture of Adam Duvall and Jose Peraza if you combine their faces.
God. Thanks for reminding me I had Adam Duvall at one point. Another one of those pick up and trade. Ooh, I had one of the Texas guys. What shitty Texas guy did I have? I guess I didn't have Leody Taveras. Shitty Texas outfielder. Maybe I didn't have one. Probably owned too many of the Orioles starters at different points. Which other ones did I own? Shitty Mariners outfielders. I feel like I've owned some shitty Mariners in my day. Who did Gallon just pass? I will have finished I will have gotten everybody I own for at least 2 years, so I do take some solace in that. Even though with 15 seconds left, there's a lot that I'm still missing here. Oh shit, he played for. I'm not gonna get it. Oh, God, there's a lot here.
How many did you
Um,
finish with?
177.
Ooh, that's less than I would have thought.
I kind of lost some steam. I just like, I don't know what it was. There's so much pressure in this, and so many random names at the bottom that I just like kind of like forgot about. Um, I did get like pretty much everybody in the top, so I feel good about that. But I'm sure you're gonna get less. If you would have given, like I said, if I would have had 45 minutes of this, I would have gotten like 300 of these. It's 25 minutes. I got 43%.
All right, not too bad. Maybe you don't share your results until after I've taken mine.
Yeah, that was exactly my thoughts.
Perfect. Let's. Right.
All right, Cam, it is now your turn.
My game, and let's see if I can beat your score. I wonder if I can.
Yeah, 177.
177. Let's see. I have 385 players to name. 25 minutes. Here we go. The first name I'm typing is Freddie Galvis. Ooh, I typed Juan Soto. I typed Soto and I got 56 days of Gregory Soto, so that is fun.
Oh God, I didn't know you had Gregory Soto.
I had him for a while, yeah. Let's just run down my whole roster.
I predict you're gonna get like 130.
Okay, Brandon Donovan is not on here. That is a mistake.
Oh, I'll give you +1 for that.
All right.
All right. While you do that, I'll be playing my first round game at NC State.
NC State.
So I'm a little concerned. It says for early National Signing Day that my quarterback committed, my 5-star quarterback, but I don't see him as like on the list of guys. I'm a little concerned.
All right, I got Dakota Hudson and also gave me 77 days of Daniel Hudson.
Yeah, I forgot to put in Hudson. That would have gotten me Daniel and Brian.
8 days of Frank Schwindel.
Oh God, you own Frank Schwindel? I know
For
Eric.
eight whole
Oh,
days, yeah.
gross. What the fuck? I kind of forgot he existed. But then you had him, and then you had the modern day Frank Schwindel too. The Joey Meneses. Ugh, I hope you didn't own him too.
I did not own Joey Meneses. Um, oh, Ryan McMahon should be on here too, and he's not. I guess my sheet is missing a couple names.
Yeah. How many you got?
I'm at 48 right now, and it's been 4 minutes.
Okay, it's a pretty good pace.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Wow, I rostered Noah Syndergaard for over 1,000 days.
That's
That's kind of surprising.
yeah. God, he really fell off quick.
He did. Not even the Dodgers could fix him.
Uh,
That's when you know it's bad.
oh, and then the Guardians couldn't either. Or didn't the Guardians just like basically cut him immediately? Or like, I don't want to deal with this shit.
They might have, yeah.
Injuries, man, they ruined him.
They really did.
He did start a World Series game for the what's it called?
For the
The
Phillies,
Phillies.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's impossible to believe.
It's one of those like I mean it's going to be harder to believe in like 5 years, but it's still very hard to believe now. Ooh,
Ooh, I got Trevor May while I was trying to type Tim Mesa. That's fun.
I'm just impressed you remember Tim Mesa.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of he's a guy that I stream pretty frequently. Um, Not as much as Yimi Garcia, who gave me Luis Garcia.
Mm, nice. I also got Luis Garcia, but we might have gotten different Luis Garcias.
I have the reliever Luis Garcia.
Actually, I think I've had both Luis Garcias, or two of the three. I've had a second baseman and a reliever, not the starter. That would have been a great podcast name, the second baseman or the reliever.
That really rolls off the tongue.
It does. Pitcher to hitter, my ass.
Corey Dickerson, 884 days on my team.
That's way too many days. What the fuck?
I've got 81,
How many minutes left?
17 and a half.
Okay, it's a pretty good pace.
Hmm.
I suspect you're going to slow down here in a couple minutes, but
I'm sure, but yeah,
I just don't
we're
want
gonna
you to beat me. I'm going to be really pissed. I feel so disappointed by my performance.
boom. Francisco Cervelli, 61 days.
Oh, I also had him. I didn't realize you had him too.
I traded for him, in fact.
As did I. Oh my God, did we both trade for Francisco Cervelli in this league?
Dear God.
Were our catcher situations that bad?
This was 2019. Sal Perez was hurt.
It's ironic because now you and I have two of the best catchers in the league. A trade that we were just talking about, actually.
We
Off air.
were, in fact.
Yeah, you're feeling a little uneasy about it.
I mean, Brock Wilken had a rough season, and he needs to be good in order for this to kind of work for me.
Yeah. Harry Ford had a down year. PCA is no longer on your roster.
And the other pick I traded, and I think I got Kikuchi for it.
No, I think it was the
So
Bogarts trade.
yeah, I got Kikuchi in the Bogarts deal.
Okay, and then you turned Bogarts into, or not Bogarts. You turned Kikuchi into Lugo. And Contreras has been solid. I'll be curious. Like this is gonna be his last year of catcher eligibility. I'm gonna be curious to see what you do once he loses that. But are you willing to roster first baseman Wilson Contreras or not?
Mm, It depends, I guess.
Yeah. I think he's a viable enough bat to be like a stick on your team, but regardless.
I now have my top 10 guys, but I'm missing a guy with 1,390 days on my team.
All right, that makes me feel better that you're forgetting your top guys, but I didn't forget mine. Suck it,
I've
can.
I've got 15 and a half minutes to go, so
Okay, well, still suck it.
I've got plenty of time here.
There's
Who
never a
have I
bad time to tell you to suck it. That's my philosophy.
who has been on my roster? I guess I had Genesis Cabrera for 51 days. That's fun.
That actually, I remember that strangely.
Hector Neris.
Yeah, I got him too. For my roster.
All right, I just got 103 by typing in Hernandez and getting Jonathan Hernandez and Eliezer Hernandez and a third Hernandez that I can't. Oh, Kike Hernandez.
Oh, nice. I evidently had something called Carlos Hernandez for a little while, and I did not realize that. But
Man, I don't know who that is. Um there's a A's starter that I streamed a couple times this year that I can't think of his name.
I can't either. I did think of an Ace streamer that I traded for in a prior year, and I'm not going to reveal it because I don't know if you've rostered him. I'm sure you streamed him at one point in those early years.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Michigan is up 10-0 on NC State.
Hmm. 110 and I'm halfway through.
Okay, it's respectable pace. Any more fun ones?
I just got Connor Wong, who finished one ahead of Willie Castro in terms of days on my team.
Fun.
I'm just trying to remember who's on my roster right now. Um,
I made sure to get all of those. That would have driven me nuts if I missed any one of those, but I got all of those.
let's see here. In my outfield, I've got Judge, Soto, Nimmo. Oh, I had not yet gotten Jackson Merrill. Oh, I just got Tanner Houck. I had not yet gotten him.
That would have been problematic.
It would be that's 119. Now, remember when Matt McGill was briefly the Mariners closer?
Matt McGill?
Matt McGill.
No.
Well,
Who the fuck is Matt McGill?
he was also briefly on the Reds, but I own Matt McGill because it looked in briefly like he was going to be getting some saves for
Like
um,
McGill, like Megill, like Trevor.
Magill.
I'm not entirely sure you're talking about a real player, and I say that sincerely.
Look
Uh,
him up, Matt McGill, Magill.
okay, give me a second. You're fucking making this guy up. You're pulling your cam level shit. You make guys up. How you doing now?
I'm at 132. I'm definitely close to a wall.
How many minutes left?
7.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna beat you, but it's gonna be a closer margin than I
Yes,
thought.
so many of these guys are just relievers that I've streamed. Maybe it's time to just start typing in random relievers. Andrew Chafin just worked. I've
Uh,
used him once apparently.
Never a bad idea to just start typing random relievers. Hey, I just had a pass inter or a pick negated by a roughing the passer. I love that. See if I can get this home. Ooh, that's a tutty. Looks like Zane is doing some massive typing in the Slack here. It's like he's laying out a trade block. Oh God, he's going to talk about all his starters, I could tell. How many you got now?
I'm at 137
With
with 4.5 minutes to go.
yeah, you're not going to top me.
I am not, I don't think. Um, I did not own Matt Boyd.
It feels like someone you might have owned at one point.
I almost traded for him the first season.
Actually, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good. I am still missing one of my big guys.
How many days?
1,390.
Oh God.
Yeah, someone who's on my roster longer than Trevor Bauer.
I have a feeling I know who it is, and I'm going to say it afterwards as soon as you're finished, and I'm going to see if I'm correct. Actually, that many days? Yeah, I'm going to guess and see if it is this guy before you reveal who it is if you don't get it. Actually, no, given what you traded for him, that's definitely longer. I don't know who it is.
All right. I am done. I finished with 151.
It was Walker Bueller, the guy you forgot.
No, it was not. The guy I forgot was Joey Gallo.
Oh, interesting. Uh,
Man, I did forget a guy on my team, Yandy Diaz.
oh God. Okay, who was your worst miss?
Worst miss was Joey Gallo.
Okay, mine was Jose Urquidy
Hmm.
at 654
Oh, I
days.
missed Taylor Ward. I missed two guys on my team
I
currently.
also missed Taylor Ward.
I missed Nick Pivetta, even though we just spent a long time talking about him.
Oh my God, I miss Miles Straw.
I missed Miles Straw too.
Wait, you own Miles Straw?
I owned Miles Straw for 9 days, apparently.
When the I don't remember that. When?
Let's see.
Yeah, please pull that up.
I owned Miles Straw April 9th till April 15th of 2021.
I would not have guessed.
Hmm.
You learn something
Shelby,
new
I
every
owned
day.
Shelby Miller for 207 days. I had no idea.
That vaguely tracks.
Okay, wait, hold on. It's saying I didn't type in Jeff McNeil, but I 1,000% did. So I'm going to give myself another.
Oh my God, I did forget someone on my roster. I forgot Bailey over.
Man.
Uh,
Brooks Raley. Oh, Patrick Bailey. I tried to go through all my catchers this year that I had this year, but I forgot him.
I forgot Kevin Biggio. I am a monster. I mentioned him earlier in this podcast too.
Oh, I forgot Jesse Winker.
I had Seth Lugo for a day. I tried Jesse Winker for myself for some reason. Keegan Aiken. I was running through random Orioles relievers. I had like every random Oriole reliever but him. JP Sears, was that the Oakland guy you're forgetting?
Yes, it
Forgot
was.
about
Yeah.
him. Junior Caminero, I forgot. Evidently, I had Jordan Lyles for 2 days. I forgot Trevor May, Andrew Benintendi. I
I
forgot.
forgot Trevor
Although I
Gott.
was thinking about Benintendi, but then didn't type him, not thinking I owned him.
I apparently owned Corey Julks for a day.
Why?
Good question.
I have so many questions about that one specifically. Um, I
That
forgot
was
Tanner Bybee,
June 11th, 2023. I
who
was
I had.
rostering Corey Julks on my dad's 59th birthday.
Damn. What the fuck was that? I just had the weirdest fumble return for a touchdown. I need to watch a replay of this. What
Oh, Aaron Loop. I missed Aaron Loop. That's a bummer.
an Aaron
An
Bummer.
Aaron bummer, in
Did
fact.
did did either of us have Aaron Bummer?
I did, and I missed him.
I did. I missed him too. Oh no.
I
God, we
owned him
were
for
awful.
3 days. I owned him June. I was rostering him on my dad's 58th birthday. Um, oh, I missed Tommy Listella. I had him for 700 plus days.
You had him that long? I
Yeah,
forgot
he
Edgar
was.
Inciarte is one of my OG outfielders. Charlie Morton. Did you remember Liam Hendricks?
I did.
Okay, good. Because I was gonna say, yeah, me forgetting him's a little more defensible. Your team was literally named after him, and what sucks is I remembered Rizzo and Gleyber Torres from that trade, but just forgot about him. I forgot TJ Friedel. I did. I got Fried, obviously, but not Friedel. Um, do you remember the Nick Wickgren Yellow Champ era?
I do not.
98 days. Uh,
98 days. Wow.
yeah.
Do you remember um the David Bodie era of my team?
Oh God, no, that happened.
2 days.
I also had Genesis Cabrera apparently, and didn't remember him. Uh, do you remember the Trevor Stefan
I owned
era?
Trevor Stefan for a while too, and I missed him.
Ooh, I had Noah Syndergaard for 10 days.
Huh? Trevor Stefan I owned for 61 days.
I had
Oh,
Sam Moll for 6 days.
remember when you traded me Dellin Betances?
I did, but also missed him.
Me too. I
I
missed
almost
Scott
traded Dylan
McGough.
Betances for Corbin Carroll at one point, and I regret not closing that or being able to.
Oh,
You was the one who backed out. Remember those 5 days this year I rostered Luis Matos.
oh yeah.
Um, I had Tanner Roark and Addison Reed. I think I traded for Tanner Roark in this league. Ooh, I had Derek Dietrich too. I forgot about that.
Oh, I forgot Derek Dietrich. I owned him for a little while. I remembered Aristides Aquino.
We literally talked about Kyle Farmer earlier this episode, and I forgot to put him down.
Yeah, me too.
I have Pablo Reyes for a day, evidently.
Oh, I forgot Blake Snell.
Good. I forgot a couple of Reds legends: Wade Miley, Pedro Strop, Tyler Stevenson.
Oh
Is
God, I
Tanner
forgot
Rainey a
Rainey.
Red?
Tanner Rainey was very briefly red. He pitched like 2 innings and gave up 6 earned runs or something.
That sounds right. Tyler Clippard a Red at 1.2?
No, Drew Storen is who you're thinking of.
Okay, yeah, they are the same thing.
They are.
That's like the reliever version of Harang and Arroyo. Um, I did have another red for a day though, Anthony DeSclafani.
Ooh, I don't know if I did.
I had someone named Connor Menez who I'm pretty sure was a Giant, but I remember absolutely nothing about him. Uh, Will Crow, remember Will Crow? Ooh,
Not
another
really.
red. Art Warren was a red, right?
Warren, oh my God, yeah, he was, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
I don't think he was that bad either. God, Art Warren, that's a name that takes me back.
Was Harold Castro ever a red?
Not to my knowledge.
He feels like I'm gonna search this up. He feels like he like randomly played like 8 games for the Reds.
Oh, speaking of Reds, I missed TJ Antone and Ian Jabot.
I think I had Antone. Harold Castro's a Rocky, and we something else. Tiger. That's what I was thinking of. Do you remember Kohei Arihara?
I do, yeah. He was like
I,
with the
I
Rangers.
yeah, I had him for today. I had him in my minors thinking he could be the next big thing, and it never really panned out. Uh, Jeremy Jeffress was never a Red, was he?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, I didn't remember that was one of his late stops.
Oh, I owned Kevin Gingle for a bit.
I did too.
Oh, I just got ginked.
Oh, I forgot Wensleydale.
Oh, me too.
And Jacob Webb, another Oriole reliever. Zach
Oh,
McKinstry, even though he
yeah.
saved me in a matchup against Jake, I should have given him more respect.
Yeah, I think we've learned this is difficult. Hot take.
Yeah, I think we need to make this a yearly tradition now.
We could do that. I apparently rostered Johan Camargo for 14 days and Isaiah Kiner Falefa for 15 days.
It's like 13 and 14 more days than I thought you would have rostered either of them.
Yeah, no, very strongly have like a lot of these sound a little bit familiar. Like I remember streaming um Colin Ray.
Oh,
I
I
vaguely
streamed him
remember
too.
picking up Tyrone Taylor, but I have absolutely no memory of picking up Isaiah Kiner Falefa for 2 weeks.
I vaguely recall you rostering him, but I can't really recall you rostering the other two. Uh, it was fun. As soon as you said Colin Ray, like literally my eyes were on Colin Ray's name. It's just uncanny.
I believe that was this year I streamed him to help me beat Anthony.
That has to be right because this was his like best year by far. Ooh, Emilio Pagan, another Red. I forgot about a lot of former Reds. Tommy Pham. Uh,
Oh, I forgot about a future red, Jock Peterson.
yeah, I did get Jock Peterson because he was one of my 0 day guys because I acquired him in a trade with Anthony and then immediately flipped him for Trey Mancini on the same
Jock
day.
Peterson was he was he's like a Mount Rushmore type of guy. I loved rostering him.
You traded for him for you gave up a little bit for him like a second round pick or something. I remember that.
I think I flipped a second for a third and Peterson, and I think it worked out pretty nicely for me.
That sounds right. Yeah, okay. This is coming back to me now.
Man, I rostered Tom Stella for nearly 2 full years.
Why?
He had a bit of a mid-season goodness or
Oh,
mid-career goodness.
I forgot Madison Bumgarner, who was literally the first ever player I traded for.
And did you get Adam Wainwright?
I did. I almost shut out NC State. They just scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with 2:13 left in the fourth. Ugh. I forgot Gregory Polanco. We were just talking about him the other day. He's another early trade of mine. I forgot Johnny Cueto, speaking of Reds. Jordan Lyles is never a Red, I don't think.
No.
I forgot him. Ooh, I just returned an onside kick for a touchdown.
Hey, that
Hey,
is the best.
I know. Second time I've done it this season. Starling Castro. Forgot him. Forgot he was even relevant during this league. I guess he was around forever.
Yeah, I missed uh the Matt Carpenter era of excellence on my team.
Ooh, I had him for a while
Um,
and forgot him. He might have been, yeah, he was one of the higher ones I forgot. I forgot Brandon Workman. I had him for a lot long. How many days do you think I rostered Brandon Workman?
20.
415.
That's kind of crazy.
I know.
I
Uh,
rostered, I apparently rostered Adrian Sampson for 52 days.
God, I rostered
Okay, I guess it was the off season, but still.
I rostered Colton Wong for like 86 days because it was the off season too. I rostered Nick Margavicius. I don't know how you pronounce his name.
I think it's Margavicious.
Margavicius. Oh God, I
Margavicious
rostered.
definition. You should that would if he turned out to be a good player, then Margavicious definition would be the best name in the league.
Oh, it would be elite. So elite. I forgot I rostered Dan Vogelpuck. Speaking of elite,
Man, that is elite. I did remember that I rostered Rowdy Tellez.
that's impressive. I do remember that I rostered Carlos Santana. Speaking of old first baseman. Uh, I did get the 2 days I had Austin Riley in my roster uh, before I traded him for Javi Baez, who I traded for Trevor Story, who I traded for Tatis. So it kind of worked out. Uh, who are some other good ones I got? Francisco Cervelli, we talked about earlier. Howie Kendrick, I got. Did you get him?
Ooh, no, you traded him to me, didn't you?
Yeah. And the other guy, Brandon Drury from that trade. I got Hansel Robles. I got Blake Parker.
All right, so we've been spending the last 40 minutes just kind of saying names of people who were ever on our teams. Is there anything else we want to get into here or recap before we call it?
Uh, just a couple more quick ones. Remember Rowan Wick?
Yeah, Cubs reliever.
Yeah, I forgot him. Tyler Chatwood. Do you remember I claimed him off of waivers when he was a reliever?
Maybe. I don't remember the last time I claimed anyone off waivers.
I don't do it too often, but he had like a 0 ERA, so I claimed him in
Hmm.
like 20 innings or something, and then he immediately just started shitting the bed. So
I think I might have owned Tyler Chatwood for a bit too.
yeah, he was did not quite work out. Tommy Henry, just to give a Michigan shout out. Emmett Sheehan, immediately traded him. Orioles and Mariners legend Mike Bauman, hoping the Reds pick him up so he could be a full Gallardo.
Ooh, and
Jesus
that's not
Aguilar.
unlikely, given
What?
that's not even the most unlikely.
I know that's what's
He was
crazy
on
about.
like 5 teams this year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was like the Orioles, the Mariners, the Giants, and the Angels, I think it
Yeah, I think he was
was.
on the Marlins too.
Oh God. Yeah, that sounds right. Yuzmera Petit, just want to give him a quick shout out. I owned him like 15 times, literally my most like rostered or most times I've added a player. Um, and I'm sure I could go on and on, but that's the last one I wanted to shout out. Oh, Adam Frazier, because former Oriole.
Yeah, Adam Frazier, a longtime member of my team.
Yeah, I could go on and on, so I'm gonna shut up because otherwise we're never gonna stop recording. It'll be 2 a.m. and I'm gonna be rattling off names and remembering where I got them from. So
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we had a fun time here doing this. I would say this Sporcle quiz was a success. Congratulations on beating me at knowing your own players.
yeah, I need to take your quiz now, and see how I do on that.
Yeah, maybe give it like 24 hours since I've just kind
Oh
of
yeah,
said a
yeah,
bunch of
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
names.
I'm definitely not doing it immediately, and I'm definitely doing it off air. I'm not gonna subject you to
Oh yeah.
that.
Um,
But we need to make this a yearly thing.
I think that would be fun. Yeah, I
Yeah.
will definitely have a lot of new random reliever streams between now and then.
Oh God, who knows what like elite players we might trade for too? Like if we would have done this last year, who would have thought that like Wyatt Langford would be one of the names that I'd be putting in here?
Yeah, who would have thought Jose Altuve would be one of the names I'm putting in here?
I know that's it's still so weird to me that I don't own Jose Altuve. You know that like SpongeBob episode where like SpongeBob goes to work at the Chum Bucket and he's singing to Mr. Krabs and they're both like, floating in the air like towards each other, trying to grab each other, but they can't.
Is that you and Jose Altuve?
It kind of feels like it, yeah.
Well,
It's
interesting.
it's weird. I saw Freeman and Yelich, but it's like that was the trio, and I broke up that trio.
You really did. Yeah, he was
I
your
had a pro.
guy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean those are my top three picks in the inaugural draft. I was the only one to hold on to my top three picks there for a long time.
Yeah, now I've got one of them. I don't I cut my number one pick this season. I um I cut a lot of long time guys this season. I cut Kelenic, I cut Bryant, I cut Rizzo. It was kind of the end of a lot of eras for my team this year, and for your team as well with Altuve.
Oh yeah, it's God, it's crazy. Um, but it's just how it goes.
That's
I
just how it goes.
gotta make room for the new guys.
But yes, we've got so that was this episode. Yeah, pretty soon we've got a lot of fun stuff this off season. I'm sure we're going to be doing awards very soon. Would love to do trivia again soon. This will be the fifth version of Dynasty Trivia. Maybe we'll get Zane back on now that he's more involved in kind of getting back involved again. I think he would have fun. He was in the first Dynasty Trivia. But yeah, no, a lot of fun stuff this off season, and I enjoyed kind of walking down and relearning the name Adrian Sampson.
Oh God, yeah. That is not one I've thought about in quite some time, but I am glad that we are having the opportunity to think about Adrian Sampson again.
All right, it's always a good day when you're thinking about Adrian Sampson. But till next time.
Now I gotta add you to my list of people to try and forget about. Now I gotta add just to my list of faces to try and not think about. Now I gotta tell them I don't care, I'm hoping nobody might work it out.
This podcast is good.